welcome along to DR Sports. We are here for another roundtable talk, joined by Matisse, representing Chelsea, representing West Ham. We've got Nicky Hawkins, and we've got Doyle representing Liverpool. Guys, ladies, gentlemen out there, all good things come to an end. That's what they say in life, yeah?
Yes.
Is that the case with Jurgen Klopp? Is it time? Is his time at Liverpool and the domination drawing to a close? I mean, are we seeing the decline of Jurgen Klopp? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about how he's been at clubs, and then once he gets to that 7th year,
it's a weird year.
It's a strange year, man. It's a strange year.
Let's ask Doyle. Doyle, you were here.
What do we think?
Can't last forever, though.
It can't, no. And reality is, it's not the start of his career, is it? It's right, it is on the tail end of it in the next few years. We're going to have him for another 2-3 years. But is it over now? Absolutely not. No, emphatically no. He's in the stage now where he's doing a rebuild mid-success. He's won absolutely everything with our club, and I say everything. He's won every single cup he can possibly win. You give managers like this time, and you don't get on his back when he has a few bad results. The seasons that he had with Mainz and the seasons that he had with Dortmund are completely different.
7 years. Every time he got to the 7th year.
Fair play. And
what year were you in?
7th year, lad. 7th year and that, lads, yeah. But it's different situations. So with Dortmund, he had like a buying team that were buying all his best players off him. He had Mainz where he didn't have the options that he did to buy in players like Nunes, to buy in players like Jota, like these Diaz's, all these type of things. So Liverpool's a completely different setup for him, and I don't think he's going to have the fall of grace that he had in them other teams. He's a quality manager. He's world class. There's no reason for us to get rid of him now. It's not the end. It's definitely not.
Have you seen the best of Van Dijk now? You've seen the best maybe of Salah. Mane's gone. The midfield is being cut apart.
Yeah.
It really needs surgery.
Yeah.
Is Klopp ready to go? Because if you're talking about rebuilding a team like a Ferguson, that means you're staying for the next 10 years. Because to see reap the rewards of what you're building, it's going to take time. Because City are rebuilding currently as we're going along with Alvarez and Haaland, and they don't look like they're going to have a gap of a period with no success. They look like they're just going along with the success and rebuilding at the same time. Whereas you guys are going to have a little dip, and bear in mind it's been very difficult for you to win those titles, even with your best team out, because City are so tough to beat. It's just the one title. So does he have the strength, the capacity, the facilities to go again?
Absolutely.
And with the same voice, the motivation speeches, is it still going to kick in and work, or do you need a fresh voice?
Well, that's the whole point of why after 7 years his team's going to decline, because he builds from the very start, doesn't he? And he builds a team around his philosophy and the way he thinks about football. And so by the 7th year, a lot of them players are past their best as well. That's another reason why his team's going to decline. But we are buying young players, lad. Nunes is 22. Harvey Elliott, Carvalho. Trent's only a young kid still, lad. Joe Gomez is 24, 25. Konate, again, 23, lad. We're buying youngsters in there.
Do they need a new voice?
No, they don't.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Does, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's fallen so far back in this season.
He has regressed.
Van Dijk's not been the Van Dijk we know.
I know.
You've
got to think about
there's
the lads.
been some strange decisions from
humans.
Klopp playing Milner all the time.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of what I've been seeing. I'm like, that's a bit like what Arsene Wenger used to do. You know what I mean? Are we, when he was starting to sort of decline a bit?
He does have loyalties to certain players that he knows can offer certain jobs.
So is that when you start to need a new voice?
I don't think
ideas.
I don't think we need a new voice. I think we need new midfielders, mate.
New ideas?
I think that he's coming up with new ideas. And when you're looking at the last game that we played against Ajax, you're seeing a lot of them players buck up their ideas.
What's
like
the new ideas?
I think that he's going to try and implement a different formation where we have Nunes as a sole striker and we have 3 behind him to try and create like a dynamic attacking 4. That's what I think he's going to do. And we just need to give him time to do that. I don't want him to leave and then we're just in the shit. That's not what we need. We don't need a manager to do that, and he won't do that. He'll rebuild and start that rebuild so that when we get somebody coming in after him, he can go, here's the starting of your project, lad. I've built it for you. You've just got to carry it on and make it in your own vision.
I find it a bit of an odd model with Liverpool, because when you look at the best players around the world, the Haaland, they're never linked with Liverpool.
Because we don't buy them, mate. I say it every week, right? The best teams don't buy the best players, they buy the best players for their systems, right? So Mo Salah cost us £36 million, Mane cost us £30 million. We buy players like this, which Jota,
but was
£40 million.
Nunez the best player for your team?
Nunez, £85 million.
Yeah, 60 mil.
Was he the best?
85 euros.
Was he the best player for your system?
I think it was a little bit of a panic buy, and Liverpool have a history of doing this where a player plays really well against us and then we go, do you know what, we'll have you. We do it all the time. So I think that's what it was, seeing that Haaland was coming in, Mane was leaving, and we were just like, where do we put this money? We need somebody now. That's what we've done. Having said that, there is quality in Nunez, lads. There is some quality in there. Whether or not Klopp can get that out of him, we'll see. That's time will tell. Because honestly...
Nicky, what do you think? Is you seeing a Klopp in decline?
I think that would be very unfair to say he's in decline. He's a good manager. But I think if you go back on West Ham Fan TV at the beginning, Bilic was on the ropes a little bit, and Klopp was in his 7th year with Dortmund, and he was struggling. Yeah. He was really struggling. You know, nearly in relegation about Christmas time. And someone said to me, "Would you take Klopp?" And I said, "No, absolutely fucking not. I was in a relegation battle with Dortmund," and that is on record. And I said that, and obviously I've been proven far wrong. But I don't know. It's odd because the success that Liverpool have had, and I know you're saying he doesn't buy the best and all that, but there has to be, there's times in football where you have to change, and that's what I was saying about Moyes.
And we have done that.
You have to change. If Haaland was available, Liverpool, with the recent success they could have been well within the conversation to be signing him. And if you would turn down Erling Haaland because that's not what Klopp does. He was losing money.
That's not what we do, though. We sell players. So we sold Philip Coutinho for 40 million pounds, right? And know what we did with that money? We spent big, and we bought Alisson for 75, and we bought Virgil for 75. So we do spend the money when we know it's a sure shot. That's why it's quite surprising that we spent this much on Nunez, who we probably thought was a sure shot, but just going to come in, going to do the business.
The worrying thing for me about Klopp is that, on deadline day, he started saying, "Well, you forced us into signing Arthur." If you can't see that your midfield is the problem, then there's a problem.
It took him a while. Him and Tuchel got that wrong, not knowing they needed a midfielder. And I start to think when managers don't understand their biggest issues in their team and don't understand the severity of the injury-prone midfielders that they have in the Chamberlains and the Keiters and the Thiagos, and then you want to be a rock and roll or a high-energy team, that for me is alarm bells ringing.
I don't think that he thought that. I know that we've been talking to Jude Bellingham about coming to Liverpool Football Club, and that our owners are saying we're going to save our money to buy this player. We might not get him, it might not happen, but them conversations definitely have. And I know that Jurgen Klopp will be looking at going, I want that player now. I want him in at the start of the season because I absolutely need him. But the owners probably saying, no, we can't come to an agreement with Dortmund, we can't agree a fee, all this type of stupid crap politics.
Could that frustrate
Klopp
to go?
Absolutely. Well, he's not going to chip, he's not going to go, this is not going to put any disturbance in our club in the sense that it's not going to be drastic, he's not going to leave, we're not going to tell him to go. It's just a rebuild, it's just a rejig, that's what we're doing right now. Every manager should do it.
Rejig for you?
We'll see, but do you feel like, is that enough success for them over the 7 years as well? I know you've won everything.
We're not greedy, lad, right? Liverpool.
I'm just saying, 7 years.
This is what you do in your football team, right? When you're at your very, very high in the top of your game and you win everything, lad, then you can go to the bottom of your game and be okay with that because you know when your team comes right back up there, lad, they'll give you everything that they already have. And you've got to give them that in this time, lad, and that's what I will always do with my football club, lad, no matter what.
What's your expectations for this season?
I think we'll finish top 4, second, and I think that we can still win a cup. We are Liverpool, we don't give up. Even the last season where we finished 4th, remember that? And Ali scored that header in the last minute of the game.
Hold on. I said, what's your expectation?
Expectations
not dreams.
is a bit of silverware, lad, and finishing second in the Premier League.
You think they'll do that?
I have them to finish second. The silverware part, I would expect them to grab something, but there's only so much to go about.
Is this just a blip? I mean...
I don't think so,
no.
No.
Because we are only like 7 games in the start of the season, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit of blip with Liverpool that they just ain't really... Or do you think there's worrying signs?
I don't want to put it all on Klopp, because I don't think they should get rid of Klopp, and I think that would be a very bad decision from them and very reactionary. But I do believe that the young players that they're talking about are not on the same level of what they're trying to replace. And I think, just how good these guys are going to be, is it going to have to be Klopp once again squeezing? Because that's what Klopp did with this team. He squeezed a lot out.
They've had a lot of injuries as well.
Players like Henderson, he squeezed a lot of quality out of these players. That if you was to give them to just a good manager, not a great one, do Liverpool even get close to these titles and conversations that we're talking about? He's made. I think the system deserves more credit than sometimes the individuals that are given it. So
absolutely,
I think whether he can do it again with some of these young players like Nunez and Elliott, it's going to be interesting. Just high standards.
All right. So, how long has he got left, do you reckon? I don't want to be the man's demise.
An infinite amount of time.
Huh?
An infinite amount of time.
Yeah. Until the end of his contract. Until he decides it's over. Until he decides he is our Messiah.
I think he does have a lot of time, a lot of credit in the bank, and I think it'll be interesting for me. I think he might decide that it's time.
I do too.
Because what more can he really accomplish at Liverpool? And does he need a new challenge? Does he need a break? I felt like Klopp needed a break when he was going for an awful year personally. Did he have a break?
For the Dortmund one,
okay, yeah. For Dortmund, but for Liverpool when he was having that awful year,
and that's another thing that I want to add, by the way, right? 2 seasons ago, Liverpool were finished, okay? We come fourth, and everyone was saying we're finished. The next season, I remember you saying this to me, at the start of last season, you were like, I don't think Liverpool are going to do this. I think they're going to be poor. The team that they put out last season was terrible. And then you said that, and we'll get it up, right? And then
I said that.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, that was terrible.
You said that
at the start.
You said at the start of the season, Liverpool were not going to be anywhere near the heights that we had hit. I promise you, last season you said that, and I remember going, "Don't write us off," because we didn't have our full team last season, and when we've got our full team, we'll be hitting heights, lad. And it happened, lad. We played every single competitive game, and we can find the seats. Don't know what stream it is.
Find those receipts.
I
don't remember saying that.
But yeah,
I don't remember saying that.
You can't write a team like Liverpool off. You can't write teams like Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea. You can't write these teams off. They might have a bad season, but then they come back.
The only thing I'd say with you know what? Maybe I think it's us as football fans. We don't realise to be at the top for that long. Somebody like Klopp. Somebody like Pep, he's even had times when he said, I've got to take a break. To stay at the top with all the pressures that come with management for so long.
I hope he gets bored soon.
It must be, but it must be tough, isn't it?
It's not easy.
You must wake up one day and say, you know what, I need a break.
Yeah.
I need a break. And then maybe just, again, when we talk about margins in football, just losing that little percent.
Yeah.
You just start to see cracks. I don't know. So, maybe they need to start introducing that for managers that Klopp, take a year out.
We'll bring in
your assistant for the year, and then you come back after.
If Klopp took 2 years out and they built their team and built it back to what it needed to be, and then he came back, I don't think that's the worst situation in the world.
We may in the future. That might be a thing that could be considered with a
rolling managers,
with a great manager, where you just say, right, your contract, we've taken you out for a year. Go and relax, man. Go and chill, just refresh, and we'll bring you back in a year. You never know. That could be a thing in the future that we see. But listen, I still think he's a fantastic manager, despite the propaganda that you spread. I don't remember saying any of those things, right? But listen, what do you guys think? Is he on the decline, or is it just panic stations and this guy's a top quality manager? We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe here to DR Sports and, of course, to become a member. And we'll see you on the next one.